Hi, let's learn semi-annual compounding in compound interest. So it's also called half-yearly compounding. So in semi-annual compounding, interest is calculated every 6 months and it's added to principal to calculate interest for next period. So the interest rate per period become interest rate per annum divided by 2 and number of period becomes years multiplied by 2 because we'll have to calculate interest every half year. So let's understand with the help of one example. X borrowed 5,000 at the rate of 10% for 2 years. Interest is compounded half yearly. So interest is always given in yearly terms. So principal here is 5,000 rupees. Interest rate per period R here will become different because the interest rate is calculated half yearly. So we'll calculate the interest rate per period, which is 10% per annum divided by 2. So 5% per period or half yearly. The number of period will also increase because we'll have to calculate interest every 6 months. So number of period will increase 2 multiplied by 2. There are 2 years. Then every year we'll have to calculate interest twice. So number of period will become 4. So in 2 years there are 4 6 months. So number of period will become 4. And then we know the formula. Amount is equal to principal 1 multiplied by 1 plus R divided by 100 raised to power N. So we know R is 5% and N is 4. So substituting the value of the variables, we get 5,000 multiplied by 1 plus 5 divided by 100 raised to power 4. So we solve 1 plus 5 divided by 100 and it came 21 by 20 raised to power 4, and if we solve this expression we'll get 6077.53. so amount is 6077.53, which X will get after 2 years, or which X will have to pay to the banks after 2 years, and the interest he will pay is amount which is 6077.53 minus principal, which is 5,000 rupees. So 1077.53 will be the interest amount. So let's learn quarterly compounding. In quarterly compounding, interest is calculated every 3 months. So 1 year will become 4 period. So interest rate per period will become annual interest rate divided by 4 because we'll have to calculate interest every 3 months. There are 12 months. So every 3 months if we'll calculate interest, so there would be 4 period every year. So number of period will be years multiplied by 4 because interest is calculated every 3 months. Let's understand it with the help of one example. X borrowed 5,000 rupees at the rate of 8%. I change interest rate from 10% to 8% for the ease of convenience, because if we divide 10 by 4, it will come a decimal number. So I reduce it to 8% for 2 years, and which is compounded quarterly. So principal here is 5,000. Interest rate per period is 8% divided by 4 because there are 4 period now every year, which become 2%. Number of periods will be years multiplied by 4 because there are 4 period every year because interest is calculated every 3 months. So 2 multiplied by 4 will be 8. We know the formula to calculate amount, which is principal multiplied by 1 plus R divided by 100 raised to power N. So if we substitute the values of variable, we know principal is 5,000 rupees. We know R, we calculate it, which is interest rate per period is 2%, and we know N, which is the number of period, is 8. So if we solve this 1 plus 2 divided by 100, we'll get 51 divided by 50, and if we solve this expression, we'll get 5,858.30. So amount is 5,858.30, and interest rate, if we calculate interest, it will be amount minus principal, which is 5858.30 minus 5000, which is 858.30.